Well, hi there. I'm Carol Ostro, proud president of the Actors Temple. And we're bringing you the PastisPrologue Stories of the Actors Temple by Ira Health. And this is chapter 7. It's going to be about the Three Stooges, told to you by Jim Brochu. And we're very happy that he's going to be our narrator now. Would you believe that these three brothers have really stood the test of time from the 1920s until now? You can get their type of comedy, which you may not appreciate now, but it was very much appreciated in the 30s and the 40s and the 50s, 70s and 80s, and on television now, as I'm speaking to you. And we're so proud that they were members of the temple. I wonder how they might have been during the High Holy Days. I don't think they would have poked anybody in the eye, but that is what they're famous for. And starting in the 1920s with their videos, they didn't have an easy time of it, but they persevered and became so tremendously famous. And there's one particular video we're going to show you now where Larry, one of the brothers, is speaking what's supposed to be Chinese, but it's really gibberish in Yiddish. And it's the funniest thing, and you'll recognize, those of you who do speak Yiddish, the expression is, and I want to make sure I get it right, Ich bet dir, hack mir nicht kein Scheinig. Now, I remember that from my dear departed grandma and grandpa, which they meant as, don't bother me, don't bang on my tea kettle, don't bother it at all. So you'll recognize it when you see that video at the end. And we're so pleased to bring you these stories of those wonderful, famous people who were part of our little Actors Temple. And we hope that you understand that we need for you to donate, please, so we can keep this up and bring you our best. Please, enjoy. Thank you for being with us. Stories from the Actors Temple, the PastisPrologue. Take it, Jim Brochu, please. Bye now.
Hello, everybody. If the sounds of nyuk, nyuk, nyuk and woo, 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 woo are familiar to you, then you have had the pleasure of seeing and hearing the films of the Three Stooges. Most particularly, you've heard the voice of Curly Howard. The trio of Moe, Larry, and Curly appeared in 14 feature films and more than 100 short films. As seasoned fans know, Moe and Larry were the staples in the trio, partnering with several different performers over the history of the Three Stooges. It all began in 1925 as a vaudeville act. They were a group of four men called Ted Healy and his Stooges. Ted Healy was the boss in the group, and the act was composed of Healy trying to sing, but being interrupted continuously by the Stooges. The humor would be Healy's reaction, which was verbal and physical attacks meant to be funny, on the Stooges. The three who were the first set of Stooges were Moses Horowitz, Louis Feinberg, and Samuel Horowitz. Samuel and Moses were brothers, Samuel being the eldest by 2 years. They came from a family of 5 brothers: Irving, Benjamin, Samuel, Moses, and Jerome. The Horowitz family lived in the Bensonhurst section of Brooklyn, and Louis Feinberg, he was born and was raised in Philadelphia. He moved to New York when Ted Healy brought him into the Stooges group. The Stooges anglicized their names to Moe Howard, Larry Fine, and Shemp Howard. All three were Jewish, and they are among the many celebrities who came to services at Congregation Ezrat Israel, the Actors Temple. In 1932, Shemp Howard decided to take an opportunity to perform on his own. It's possible part of the motivation was Ted Healy's behavior. Healy had a drinking problem, and his public abusive behavior on stage would be replicated in private offstage encounters. Shemp had enough of it. It was time to move on. So with his departure, Moe and Larry Well, they needed a new partner to complete the trio. The youngest of the Horowitz brothers, Jerome, joined the team, and he took on the Stooges' name of Curly. So the team of Moe, Larry, and Shemp became the team of Moe, Larry, and Curly. In 1934, the Three Stooges' career became Hollywood-focused. They signed a contract with Columbia Pictures and began making both feature-length films and short films. They stayed under contract with Columbia until 1957. And during these years, there would be occasional stretches of time when they would be back in New York performing on the stage, but for the rest of their lives, beginning in 1934, they were primarily living in Los Angeles.
Come on, girl. What's the matter with you? Stop that, will you? It's mail, isn't it? Everything will be ready in a minute, Miss Gallagher. All right, girls, come on. Come on, you feed everybody now. Come on. Jesse, take care of these girls.
Hello, Duchess.
Hello, Mr. G.
All right, boys, come on. You order, right? Right. What can we do for you?
Well, what do you got?
We got plenty.
All right, let me have it. I'll need a little more room, though.
You'll get it. All right, fellas, bring it up. Spread out. That's it.
Stop, please. Slower.
Just slower. Get it slower. Help the lady out. Help the lady out, man. That's it. Yeah, but sit down, fellas. Sit down. Hey, Curly. Help the lady out, please.
Moe and Larry were the continuity for the entire performance history, which lasted until 1970. Shemp, who had been with the Stooges at their outset in the 20s but left in 1932, came in to replace Curly in 1946.
You try that once more. Let go of my legs! Let go of my legs! What do you think? I got wings?
Curly suffered a massive stroke in 1946 and was largely debilitated until his death in 1952. After Shemp's death from a heart attack in 1955, Joe Besser came in and stayed for only 2 years until 1957.
Hello?
In 1958, Moe and Larry teamed up with Joe DeRita, who used the name Curly Joe. This partnership was successful and lasted until 1970. The Jewish background of the Three Stooges was only occasionally evident in their performances. Generally, it would happen during the use of gibberish as a comedic method. A bit of Yiddish would sneak into the gibberish in the 1938 film Mutz to You, when Moe and Larry are trying to disguise their identity by pretending to be Chinese Americans. They are confronted by the policeman who's pursuing them. And when the policeman questions them, Moe and Larry respond with what they intend to sound like Chinese, but it's gibberish with a little Yiddish, as Carol explained to you in the introduction.
And what part of China are you from, may I ask?
Ich bin a China boy chick from Slovakia, Bena, Hakmena China, and I don't mean Efsha.
Here from China, east side.
If we consider their history as Moe, Larry, Shemp, Curly, Joe, and Curly Joe, the Three Stooges filmography is an impressive total of 24 feature films and 190 short films. The short films were made from 1932 until 1957, and the feature films continued until 1970. You know, as a personal note, I was an enormous fan of the Three Stooges. And back in 1958, my grandfather schlepped me out to a theater in Passaic, New Jersey, because they were appearing live and in person. And sure enough, there they were, Moe, Larry, and Curly Joe, poking each other's eyes out and slapping each other in the face. A truly great memory. Well, thank you for watching the story of the Three Stooges and the Actors' Temple. It is one of many stories of PastisPrologue Stories from the Actors' Temple.